All right, so here we are, game 2 in this series. Now, again, things to get excited about for Draken. I talked about this before, but either some people here on the live stream, they weren't there to hear me say it, or, of course, people later on YouTube didn't hear me say it either. In regards to Draken's draft, and I'm just going to tab out to show it for a second because this is so important. He drafted heavy for the map that would be the worst chance for him, which is very uncommon. Chinese was his very first pick. You see that there? Italians was the second pick, and then his arena civs are going to be, the final picks then. But arena is his best map. A lot of people try and draft for their best map, but he actually drafted for his worst map, which is possibly an underrated play. So anyways, he's gone Chinese, and there's been some pretty crazy builds with the Chinese. I think one of the weaknesses that the Chinese tends to have on open maps is the fact that it's awkward for them in early Feudal. They start with 0 food in the bank, despite the fact that they start with more villagers. And what I've learned is, and I've seen it multiple times now, that Chinese are actually less vulnerable on this map if they take the shorefish as opposed to the berries. Now, all builds can be faster, and all players have been making a mill on the shorefish because shorefish income is faster than the berries. But I think it's so important that the Chinese can get up a little bit faster here. And NBL's gone for the Mayans, which should be said. I mean, players are pretty far apart on this map. It's a little slow, but his stone and gold position is epic. Right there on the edge of the map, he could always wall. For Draken, I think what's nice for him is his wood situation's better. So if he utilizes the back wood, he could have an easier time with things. This is a little awkward. He's got a loop-de-loop under the TC, finish off the elephant. There you go. But yeah, the gold's maybe not quite as accessible. No, we are not going to see docks. The only player I've seen docking this has been Samaro in Gold League, and he has lost every time he's tried it. Maybe it's worth it if there's more than just 2 shorefish in one single pond. And I'm not going to say I don't admire the attempt, because it's pretty wild. But that's just a low-confidence play from Samaro. Whereas Draken, I mean, he got promoted up out of gold, and this guy seems to have tons of confidence. Picking the civ that everyone's been preferring on standard land maps for years and years and years, and out here to play it. I also believe he must have heavily practiced the Chinese, because he played Chinese against Yo. He played Chinese against Leary. I remember he almost beat Leary on Arabia too. I'm really happy, as I'm sure you guys can tell, that the promoted players have been doing so well. I mean, some of them still really need to pick it up. Some of them are struggling, but Draken's been exciting so far. Now, of course, remember I said that he needed to mill the shorefish? Of course he goes for the berries. So I think if he goes... Ooh, double mill's interesting. I think his uptime is still going to be 22 pop timing. Maybe 23 pop. This food just simply doesn't make that much of a difference if you're just now taking it. And this might lead to a situation where he has a ton of food when he arrives to Feudal, as opposed to bringing in the food faster to get to Feudal faster, if that makes sense. I mean, it's not bad. It's not going to be bad, but it's not going to be like the crazy 19 population uptime or 20 population uptime that I've seen some people test out. He did beat Leary on Arena. No, I said Arabia. At least in my head, I said Arabia. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I got that wrong. All right, so MBL probably going to play into something like Man-at-Arms. Looks like MBL is going to move forward to take this wood line, which is not something you see players do every day. This is very exposed, obviously, but it's your best wood line. And Draken has those options as well. It may be a little bit more exposed for him, but I could see a lumber camp there if he really wanted to take the risk. And yeah, this is more of your standard uptime from Draken, but it's also the same for MBL. And MBL also didn't take the shorefish, which is just so uncommon for this map. But it's still an option. Now, if MBL just straight up doesn't take it, I have to question that heavily. Also, I think when you make this mining camp, if you're MBL, you want to make it between the stone and the gold. Because if you ever want stone... What's the difference, bro? Yeah, there we go. You know, sometimes we laugh and make jokes in Lowy the Legends with mining camps that are between stone and gold. But we make those jokes if you placing it between a stone and a gold makes the gold less efficient. But the gold is actually going to be just as efficient as you would have otherwise, and you could still take the stone efficiently too. So that's a really good camp there for MBL. And Draken going for some crazy walls over here. Very late scouting of MBL's base, but he wants the wall to the edge. And is MBL really just going to open up here with, like, archers against Chinese? I'm very surprised. I'm personally not in love with this, but it is MBL, right? And, you know, Mayans Chinese is normally seen as a very even matchup as the game progresses. It's a weird capture age thing, man. So when MBL advances, I just hear the little... I don't know how you describe that noise when someone advances up, but you hear that. When Draken advances, there's a 5 there, which is his color in game. I've had to change the color. You can see his color 5. And it's like a chat message, which is super weird because you hear the little doom. That's happened in both games so far, and I just now picked up on that. Okay, let's see if Draken's used to this. Draken. Oh! Well, okay, that's just honestly really sloppy from him, but he gets away with it there. He would have lost the scout, I think, with how late he reacted. But MBL with the misplay loses his eagle. Scout's still alive now for Draken. And Draken, I mean, he's going to build up towards archers here in eco. There's been no early pressure from MBL whatsoever. Again, normally you're going to see like the militia or the man-at-arms. MBL doesn't even have any eco upgrades now. I wonder if maybe he's a little bit rattled after that first game, right? I don't think MBL played bad the first game. But Draken's playing towards eco upgrades. He's even going to tower his gold here. He's going to have his range. MBL will have no scouting on this and no easy way to do any damage here. And again, you know, like, a big part of the reason it bothers me is because we scripted the map this way and everyone else has been taking advantage of it. But, like, if we're talking Castle Age times, we're now talking Chinese farms with horse color. Draken just got housed and is getting wheelbarrow super early. And then you also have all that 400 food that came in from the shorefish to give you a boost, plus the berries, right? I'm not a big fan of skirm opening, unless you follow it up with archers here if you're Draken, though. Because MBL is just going to take this invitation to try and, like, get up and go for a lot of eagles. And eagle spearman monk is a big thing that a lot of players do against the Chinese. More so because that's, like, one of the best plays you can go all-in aggressive. Like, Draken's got the gold, so you would expect that he's also going to make a couple archers here. And MBL's just got eagles in the queue. And MBL's resources, for as annoyed as I've been about the fact that he's not taking his shorefish, it's actually still looking really clean. But it's the long run, right? Like, those are the things you think about. Eco upgrades going forward in the long run. MBL wants to tower this gold. And here he comes. Interesting. I mean, this is the thing with preemptive towers, guys. We don't see towering that frequently because it's not very meta thing in 2023, which I honestly find is a little disappointing. I'm just going to say it. I feel like towers are really good positionally and fun things to talk about. But anyways, MBL says, oh, okay, you've preemptively towered your gold. That's funny. Because your tower's not going to be able to do anything about my tower. Because I'm going to place the perfect tower just out of range. Draken also has really cut army production here. Like, he was not producing out of this range. He does get fletching. And here he moves in with some skirms. But, I mean, he's going to need some walls here. And let's see how he defends from this. Now, he could shoot MBL's tower down. But MBL could always do, you know, a similar thing. And MBL going to place another tower here. Dang. I like this from MBL. He's like, he noticed his opponent is walled. And he knows that if this game just continues and progresses towards Castle Age, that Draken could maybe be in a better position. So he says, I'm not going to allow it to be this type of game. So he puts 4 archers inside of this tower. He's distracting the tower fire from his opponent with his eagles. He's got 2 towers now to fire on 1 tower. Draken now doesn't have gold access. And Draken's going to lose that tower. Dang. Crazy from MBL. I love that. And again, he might not have taken the shorefish, but his eco is still looking really good. He also is utilizing the mining camp, too. That's the exciting thing, is it's so easy for him to use the same mining camp for the stone and gold. Draken's going to try and click up to Castle Age here, and I'm sure he's going to do that just fine. He will click up any moment, and MBL also does. MBL on 5 eagles right now. He's got 2 more on the way. And honestly, maybe this isn't the right play, but if I'm MBL and I'm going to take this gold, I make my next tower here. Make a tower here and then take the gold. Because at least then you've got a little bit more coverage over the front of your opponent's base if you're going to siege pressure. But also, just in case you need to hide, right? And what better time to make it now? I mean, if your opponent has knights, then you're not going to be able to spend it. Great work from MBL here. And there's no hole over here. I know you guys might be thinking there is. There's no hole. MBL with double barracks. Eagle spam. He's going to turn that into some monks as well. And what? Bro! Draken sneaking out. He had scouted this before. Now, MBL doesn't actually know if his opponent has a gold in the back. So it's a good possibility that if he starts to see gold units, he just thinks his opponent has a gold back here. But if you've prepared and you know the map, you should know there's a 4-tile gold and a 3-tile gold for each player. So for MBL, there's 3 tiles, and then here there's 4 tiles. So if you're thinking about that, which I honestly don't think he would do on this map because he doesn't play it as frequently, then you should have some type of an idea. And then if you see knights, you should start looking around. Anyways, both players hit the Castle Age. Now, the awkward thing for Draken is he does kind of need to defend his villagers here. Like, he now has knight production on the side. I like the gold income being on the side, but I'm not sure I actually like... Oh! Yeah, this is just a big problem now. And just a little late to pull the villagers there. Now MBL is going to have Eagle Warriors in. Not just Eagle Scouts, Eagle Warriors as he upgrades them. So Draken might be forced into buying some stone here, just to panic a TC in the back of his base. And no, he's just going to run. He's trying to. I think he actually deleted... Oh, no, there is a hole. MBL's going to be so confused. MBL's going to be so confused when he gets back here. He's like, where are all the bills? I thought you had an economy back here. Still a really good situation for MBL. Like, those villagers running right now, still not collecting resources. MBL has been able to do a bit of damage here. But this is funny, man. And oh my god, the knights made it into MBL's base, and he had to quick wall, panic wall here. He's got a knight over on this side. Holy crap. Oh, man. And that gate could open, too. This is... Oh, jeez. This is so bad for MBL right now. Good damage control from him. He did lose his eagles there. Draken's got a lot of idle time. Both economies are actually all out of whack at the moment. And MBL had sent an eagle over here. There's a lot that I wanted to talk about at the same time. So he knows that there's at least the stables over there. And he has to imagine maybe the gold is there too. But like, look at this. You send your villagers back to work. MBL's on the prowl. MBL was able to get a TC up on this hill, which gives him safe wood control. The gold is still protected. And a couple villagers exposed there. He will lose 1. And he's killed 2 in total. This is crazy. Draken still has more knights on the way, though, and MBL still has more eagles. So both players have done a good job there. But, oh, man, MBL's got villagers so exposed. Look at Draken with the blocking here. He'll kill more villagers. Oh, this is so good from him. And pulls away from that TC fire. Let's see his reaction time here. I think 2 knights coming home for Draken would make a whole lot of sense. And then you could even send them underneath the gold there. But he's so focused here on this, and it's understandable that he is. And MBL gets some revenge, kills the villager there. This is crazy, man. There's still a hole here, by the way. So all the knights could group up and come in together. Not a fight that MBL should be taking here. And MBL could even lose his barracks soon, which is what Draken's thinking of. And yeah, now the knights are coming home. MBL does get here. Draken notices it, though. So MBL should now know that that's where the majority of Draken's eco is otherwise. Great job from MBL to, as he took maybe an unreasonable fight here, but he's still keeping his Eagles alive here. A good job from him finding that. Eventually, though, he's going to need more access to gold, and he's going to have to leave his base for that. This game is just wild, man. And Draken's finding the Vil kills. Not the Vil pills. I don't think the Vils need pills, but maybe MBL's will. Maybe he needs painkillers after all this. Oh my goodness. I guess they're dying, so you don't need to give painkillers to a dead villager, but... I mean, Draken's not booming, guys. He's still got this TC, but he will clear this up now. And he's still got this massive army in MBL's base. 29 kills and 12 deaths from Draken, the promoted player. He's somehow still behind in villagers, which is a crazy stat. And again, it is MBL, right? Like, and if MBL gets a couple knight conversions, you never know. MBL's been producing vills in the middle area, which Draken doesn't seem to really know about. But God, like, MBL can't... He doesn't know where to send villagers from this TC. That's the problem. Is he's creating vills and they have nowhere to go. Now, I think it's... I wonder if it's worth it. I think it is absolutely worth it to take out these towers now, your Draken. He's trying to kill the monks. MBL inside the TC now with the monk. The Draken's got a lot of weak knights around. So there's pikemen now for MBL. The Draken's going to mix in siege, but he doesn't have it all together right now. MBL maybe holding on here. Oh, but the knights are going to get through! He didn't get the repairs down in the house. This is crazy. And Draken just continues to dive because he figures that MBL's economy is so bad. He actually thinks this is MBL's only economy. He doesn't know MBL has the middle economy. But killing the monk there is really valuable. And now MBL doesn't have gold income. And if you don't have gold income, you can't make monks. Draken can absolutely do this. He is going to need access to the gold at his base soon because he's almost out of the side gold. But what a crazy play from him. I guess MBL doesn't need gold to make pikemen, so there is that. And MBL's monk hops inside the TC. Nice save. Draken killing off some of the pikes. Man, he's got weak knights, though. He's got so many weak knights. Oh, God. MBL's still in this, especially if he converts a knight or two knights and takes out the mangonel too. It doesn't actually take out any or convert any knights there, but he still has his monks alive. This is ridiculous. 42 villagers versus 35. MBL is still alive. And he can get back on gold. I think Draken's like, okay, what's happening here? What can I focus on next? From what he can see, MBL's like dead. He's probably starting to look. He's like, okay, he was on wood there. We haven't checked that in a while. Where do we go? He's actually going to end up sending his knights home now just to clear up those towers. Again, he needs that gold. Buying and selling some resources. I think he wants to drop a town center. I think dropping a town center around here would be really valuable. Or here, actually, because your villagers are exposed. And yeah, that actually makes the most sense for your first TC, or I guess second TC, but the first one he's built in Castle Age. And he's going to go light cav, which I can understand because he's thinking MBL will go monk defense. But MBL is actually going primarily pikemen, and this is a concern for Draken because you would want to have a mix of scorpions too. He's going to let the skirmishers kill the tower. Come on, knights, let us do something. Oh, no! Come on, it's 1 HP. That's funny. He didn't even know. Bonk. Didn't even hear the noise. Now, MBL's really good with monks. And if he converts any knights, he can then use those knights against any siege that Draken adds. And Draken's 2 TCs. His economy is certainly better than MBL's. It's not that much better, especially when you factor in MBL's army right now. And how exposed everything is, too. Like, if you don't have army control, you're going to have big, big problems. So this is probably where we're going to see the Scorpion edition from Draken. But again, it is from the side siege workshop. I think Draken taking out the house from MBL is valuable because MBL doesn't have vision on it. But, excuse me, that's the logic anyways. But he does have vision on it from the mining camp. So he just heads right to the gold. And so Draken, like, he kind of has the army lead, but he just can't figure out where to hit right now. And MBL is just going to go back and make another tower here. Great quick walls there. This is the worst feeling if you're Draken, where you just realize your army's completely out of position. He does know about the stone here, guys. He's going to TC that. He doesn't know about that gold. That would be so nice for him. It's really the gold that he needs right now. And these villagers should definitely get out of here. And that, what a great decision from MBL, the tower. I love it. That's a wonderful move. Light Cav here, go for a villager pick. Gets the villager pick, but I mean, those Light Cav, not going to get much value there. So both players could have pretty interesting castle timing, I think. Not castle age, but a castle drop timing. And Draken should be... Yeah. He should be thinking about the other golds. He actually has scouted a lot of the map, which has really been the key for him this game. Like, look at MBL's scouting. MBL's scouting hasn't been bad. But Draken's going to get this gold now. Something that MBL had vision on, but never really sent anything over there to deny. And Draken expanding his farms to the left. MBL sending his units there. The army for Draken just still, like, avoiding the middle, scared to lose knights. The presence of monks, man, it just does something to you. 66 villagers for Draken, but MBL's army is really hard to stop right now. And it's much easier to make, too. At least in some ways, and clearly pikemen are killing farmers. This is a pretty messy game. A couple Light Cav attacking villagers here, though. That's not too bad. Not too great either. In the end, at the end of the day, MBL will actually complete his TC on that gold. And Draken's going to, delete those farms so those villagers don't get picked off. And he's going to just try and push MBL's main eco. But MBL's got pikemen and monks here. And he's got towers all along the middle. This is a really unique game. This game is awesome. And no, you can never take this fight. Oh, I'd be panicking so hard right now if I was Draken. Oh, man. The thing is, like, Scorpions aren't that good against Eagles either. So you really need knight upgrades and knight numbers with the Scorpions. Probably just a castle at this point. But, like, where do you even castle? You castle it right here to protect these units? And the plus side for Draken, if he loops over this way, he might end up seeing the gold. So he knows about that for later. But again, he does have gold access right now. And here he goes, guys. He's actually researched crossbow. Oh, I love it. He's under pressure. He knows this could be an issue. MBL's dropping towers, so he's going to drop towers too. But, oh, Draken. Oh, no. Oh, no way. That castle spot's epic. Oh, and it would give him access to the gold as well. And here we have a big moment. So the towers need to be garrisoned. MBL's diving with a lot of his force here. Just so Draken can't complete that tower. If Draken were to attack anything here, it could alert MBL. But MBL's army's over here. This is a crazy game, man. There's not enough room in this TC for all the villagers. Wild. But now, the castle goes up. And this is horrible for MBL. Your opponent can take gold here. He can take wood. And I don't think MBL's realized it yet. But how do you stop it? Obviously, the knights could always run over to the castle. Draken needs to do that. Draken needs to do that. Bad position for Draken. MBL with house walls to block the pathing. The whole army could get trapped. Half of it dies. But, you know, you've got a couple crossbowmen now. And crossbowmen suddenly feeling a lot better with a lot of pikemen out here. And this is ridiculous, man. So, you know, the first game was a really good game. And the first game was along the lines of some crazy things we've seen before in Titans League. But I will say this right now. First game probably won't hit the main channel of YouTube. The main channel of YouTube, I already have this stuff. This will be edited in most likely from Hardy later on. But I'm just going to encourage you, as MBL has to go for the craziest little house walls here, you absolutely need to make sure you check out the full series, too, in the description. This is a crazy game, man. This game has been so all over the place. MBL lost a lot of his army here, and he's slowly losing control of that hill, though. And Draken's building up for another castle. He's still got stone income. Will Draken flee here? He will. Take some losses, obviously. But how Draken, with all that exposed stone and gold in the front, has been able to play this game has just been so impressive for me. 31 on food for him. 95 villagers. And we're going to see castle number 2 here. And this honestly might lead to MBL tapping out. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The castles are kissing, man. The castles are kissing. You need to YOLO all your villagers here if you're both players. You can't be the one that gets your castle up second here. Especially if you're Draken. And he just doesn't seem to realize it. Oh, man, this gets interesting. MBL is going to use his monk. So he kind of half converts his villagers. Just keeps bopping them for a second. But they don't truly go for any conversions. And that stops them from building. MBL with a couple converted knights in the back. Harassing Draken. Was over here harassing Draken. This was all at the same time. Now I think the natural move for Draken, you know, with all that, is you drop the castle here. But he actually is choosing to drop the castle here. I don't like that move, actually. I really think that placing a defensive castle is good for MBL. I think an offensive castle here would have been my preferred position. But it does give you some safe access to gold, which is a big, big thing here. In fact, for MBL, he's got all of his gold miners here. Where does he take gold? I guess there. That was also, like, part of my thinking, right? Look at how many villagers MBL is picking off in random spots, by the way. They picked off some villagers here. Idle time over here. Idle time's been nuts for both players. Multitasking has been needed. More villagers dying over here as well. Ay. And MBL knows about the gold. Dang. I'm still thinking, like, if MBL could maybe get a couple more defensive castles, he's got a shot. Draken's still not really... Like, it's double tower defense here. He's still not really able to get damage done. He feels like he has to. He will drop a town center there. It is interesting, though, how Draken continues to, like, run in underneath that gold. He's still gotten a valuable number of kills there, I'll say that much. Okay, so Draken making Chukunu now. Again, he's just completely forgotten the fact he doesn't have Bodkin Arrow, which would be so helpful. But, guys, how does MBL stop Chukunu? Chukunu aren't the craziest Castle Age unit ever, but they do have 8 attack. And Ballistics is in. So 8 base attack is very nice. And Draken, again, has so much vision on the golds on the right side. So he could maybe build outposts over there or just keep vision on it with his army. But then also, he's already kind of taking all the gold on that left side. Maybe MBL could consider some plumed archers. I wouldn't mind that too much. But he's got so many barracks now. He's committed to it with upgrades too. So makes sense that he continue. And Draken will place his next castle here. So this is kind of like fully surrounding MBL in the middle. But if MBL can go Imperial Age with that one castle and start making trebs, maybe, just maybe, he's got a chance. He did lose a couple more villagers over here. Draken's food eco is solid, but it's not incredible. And he will see that monk. Again, both players playing out of their minds. Very well played from Draken. Draken's producing villagers out of all these TCs, so there's no way that Imp is going to be coming in for him. Whereas for MBL, he's intentionally stopped producing. MBL knows, my only way winning this game now is through trebuchets in the middle. But I feel like MBL is going to lose so much access to resources here and like here. And I mean, he's got the gold, but he might need wood next. Even a tower from Draken. Would love to see the guard tower upgrade. Yeah, there it is. I like it. You already have so many towers, it's worth it. And he says, MBL, I'm going to tower you with 2 towers, just like you did to me. Dang. No Bodkin brings me so much pain. I mean, it helps everything that Draken's making. If Draken loses this game, we might look back at missing that upgrade as being a big factor here. But I mean, it feels like the 2 towers could eventually complete here. And he will get more access to gold there. And Draken now using the market to balance out this wild, messy game. Because he just wants Imp himself. And he's got so many castles, so he can lose 1 or 2 and still make trebs. And Draken does click up to Imp. And again, this is just a complete underdog story. And a messy, ridiculous game. But the thing that excites me the most about how this played out is Draken's creativity. Like, MBL had done such a good job to get a position that would normally always give you a victory because gold is such an important resource. And Draken's creativity to scout the map and sneak out the sides and kind of hide how he did it, which I can talk about, is just so epic. He's almost got too many TCs, so expect him to forget some of them every once in a while, but he does react there. Now, what's going to happen here is Draken's going to go to get Bracer, and he's going to say, oh, crap, I didn't have Bodkin Arrow. Like, he has no reason to look to his Blacksmith right now in his mind until he has to get Bracer. Oh, never mind. Or he's just getting it now. MBL can make Trebs, and MBL is making Eagles. And Eagles can be really good against Archer units, but we're talking, like, more Eagles in general, but also getting Elite Eagle, and I just don't know if that's doable for MBL. Look at his economy. It's completely surrounded right now. He's going to have so many different areas to try and raid his opponent, too. It feels like he's heading desperately over to this gold. Draken, maybe even intentionally, has just been shifting units around and just guarding these resources. MBL's desperation won't work out there. Draken will head to this gold too. He also brings a unit, so he's like, oh, there might actually be something over there from MBL, so let's just guard that. And then Treb number 1 comes out here for MBL. And he's going to have Treb number 2 and 3. As Draken's going to plan to shift back into Knights here. Now, no stone income for Draken anymore. Both players have mined a lot of stone this game, so he won't actually be able to keep this up. But what he will do is he can make Trebs from the other areas. It actually doesn't even seem like he's that interested in Trebs. It seems like he's just interested in upgrading his army. Which is one way to do it. I mean, even if MBL just stays in the middle hill. It is pretty cool, you know, that he's like hill defense here. But he's lost or will lose access to almost every single other resource here. Look at the idle time for both players. How crazy has this game been? Look, we've got Knights headed in. These will be Cavalier. MBL is going to try and tread back this way. This is where Draken will probably wait with Knights. Draken's still kind of struggling to know where to put his Shukunu to good use. It looks like he'll just loop them back over here to this area as well. And MBL could lose his TC here to Cavalier in a moment, which will lead to 15 villagers dying. This tower will go down for MBL. MBL now going for this castle. And yeah, this is where Draken, who's at 200 pop, guys, just needs to come deal with these Trebs, and he's won this game. Dang. Draken's impressive, man. I mean, this game was sick. How many times you see a guy lose access to those resources and somehow be able to get away with it against a player like MBL, right? Feels like once MBL has vision on you, once he denies your gold, you're just going to be reacting to him. And MBL's an established pro. He's done some crazy things. I think he'd be in everyone's top 10, regardless of the shape he's in. He's got Elite Eagle now. He doesn't have a lot of gold access. Let's see if these things work out. In an ideal world with the Mayans, you want to have El Dorado for the HP, and then definitely the final armor upgrade. MBL's going to find it difficult to hit these Shukunu. Look at that stack. That's one of the more frustrating things to face up against in this game, is when someone stacks their range units like that in a choke. So those Eagles will die. The Cavalier are here. There's more Shukunu. MBL's Trebs have nowhere to go. And MBL taps out. This game was crazy, guys. And it's also really crazy. If you really care and have really been following Titans League Season 2 and the standings in this group, again, I encourage people later on YouTube to check out the overall table. I kind of talk through some of those things. But this game in and of itself was just a beautiful game. Let's go back. Okay, so like it was panic time for Draken. And I think a lot of people, when they lose access to their gold, where was it? Let's say here. Okay. A lot of people, when they lose access to their gold here, this is what they do. So they build up stables. And when I say a lot of people, 99% of players who've ever been in and around the top 200, okay? So you make your 2 stables at home, and you think, okay, the first thing I have to do in the next stage, the first thing is I have to address this. And so then when the MBL does, is he's like, oh, great. Yeah, he's going to address this, obviously, so I got to make Eagles and some Siege, some Monks there maybe, and just continue to push. Even if he clears this up, I never get hit at my base. He's always, you know, trying to deal with my towers, and then the rest of the game is easier for me. But Draken says, actually, maybe I can get away with it. So he just deletes his walls and sneaks out with 11 vills. Made both of his stables forward, made it super messy attacking MBL. In the end, you know, then MBL couldn't focus on the push that much, and then he had to go back here, and Draken was able to kill the towers. Draken's economy was really clean this game, too. I mean, I'm just really impressed with this guy. But it's funny to me that he left with so many villagers once MBL ran in. Like, the real downside was he didn't have anything at home. And then credit to MBL, it's not like he never knew about that. MBL soon after that, when he got an opportunity, looped an eagle in somewhere in here as I'm going back. Like, MBL did look almost like right now he's taking a look, seeing if that was a possibility. Maybe it was when the knights started to come in. But Kilimanjaro is a messy map, and it's an open, aggressive map, which is just not the type of map that, you know, Draken is seen as preferring. But he made it look very good here. Somehow boomed up to 114 villagers and had lots of kills throughout the game. Great job. That's a really fun Kilimanjaro game right there. And yeah, just massive resource difference. 57,000 resources versus 37,000 resources. Importance of scouting, guys. But not just the importance of scouting this game. The importance of creativity. And just not staying within a certain structure just because it's the simpler thing to do. Love to see it.